math?
You know me, just giving those ham candles their right in the spotlight.
I don't even know what that means. Like, I can't even.
What's that? Ham candle. I think we talked about a ham candle on here before.
I think one of those. I think I saw that online once. Where it was like, when she tells you she wants that big dick, but she doesn't know your ham candle's got a girth certificate or whatever.
My boss actually was the first person who I heard ham candle from. I don't know what the context was, but it was my boss.
You want to suck my ham candle?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Patrick the Law Morris. Joining me this week, we have gorgeous Ben Reynolds.
Meow.
And the ham candle, Andrew Etchen.
Ham candle. Hello.
Coming up on episode 109 of Hard Reset, Bethesda continues to dig the Fallout 76 grave even deeper. Some news on the rapidly approaching Death Stranding, and a whole slew of delays that have been announced. But before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing this week. So Ben, tell me what you've been playing this week.
I've been witching.
You've been witching.
He's bewitched. Totally bewitched. Past the Lubberkin yet?
No, I went the other route.
Oh, and just stopped playing again?
No. I went with the first, and so I'm like a level 5, and I just went through some caves with a witch lady whose name I can't remember, and we found like some elf guy who left us some signs about Siri, and so now I think once after we finished, she's like, either you can just say fuck off and leave this place, or you can help me do something more here. And I was like, oh, you're pretty hot, so I'll probably try and help you do more here, because
chances gotta see those titties.
I probably try and bang you, because my friends have all told me that I can just bang anybody pretty much. So
yeah, that's the goal. You got to go around and have sex with all the NPCs.
Yeah, I just might as well be a man whore.
Yep, that's the Witcher for you.
Did you try and have sex with the herbalist?
Who's the herbalist?
Yeah, what's her name? Kara or something?
Can you have sex with her, Andrew?
Probably.
Is she the witch who you go through the cave with and find the elf?
She's the one with is it the one with like the short blonde hair?
No. She's the one that like you meet her before you even meet the griffin, before you even fight the griffin.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you can bang anybody.
Is that Kira Metz?
I don't know.
I think Kira Metz is the witch I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fingers crossed for you, buddy.
And then I've also been playing a bunch of Gwent too, because it's just a pretty awesome game.
It is. I was really enjoying it in the game, and they do that like, here, learn how to play Gwent thing in the pub in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I learned and I won, and then I thought I was hot shit, and then I bet my maximum bet.
Oh man, yeah, I played, like, I went and I just found some random guy to play like shortly later who was like inside of like the main keep, and I was like, yeah, I bet I can beat this guy. He just starts dropping all these fucking insane cards that are like 10s and 11s and shit, and I'm just like, oh fuck,
yeah,
I'm so screwed.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't know the cards went that high.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they just stopped at 5s and 6s.
And that's when I realized, like, okay, I have to play like common folk and beat the beat up on the common folk, because they don't have the fancy cards. It's because I went into the keep and played some rich motherfucker who had all these fancy cards.
That's always one of those funny parts where, like, later on in the game, you could have some climactic moment happening, and you could be talking to like a main character and be like, all right, we have to go save that person. But would you like to play Gwent?
But also,
and you can just stop real quick, like in the middle of like a climactic event in the game, and just be like, "But I got to kick your ass real quick. I got to keep my standing."
Keep my Gwent cred
It's kind of a cool game because it doesn't take that long. Like, it's not like Magic the Gathering where it takes like forever, because it's just 3 rounds. And like, I mean, yeah, a round can go a little ways, like a decent amount of time, but it doesn't really take that long.
That's true. I'm also enjoying Gwent. I haven't started on the phone yet, but I was enjoying it on the Switch, and then
So they take out the siege lane of battle. There's only
what? There's only
ranged.
2 lanes.
Yeah, which
Oh,
is, but no, the units are way cooler, and like there's just a lot more to the game, and so it's cool. You'll enjoy it.
all right, all right. I'll probably get started on that tonight. But Andrew, what about you? What have you been playing?
Well, let's see. I mean, finally did finish Dragon Quest 11. Loved it.
Oh, okay.
But I ended up buying Torchlight 2 on my Switch for like $6. That's been fun. But the big thing I've been playing is I got The Outer Worlds, and
Okay.
I really like it. It's like a weird mixture between what feels like Fallout and BioShock. And it's really good, but at the same time it's not really like the best of both worlds, but it's still really fun. And I like it a lot. Like cuz it feels like Fallout in the way the RPG aspect works, and in how kind of like very, retro everything kind of feels. Like it's futuristic and spacey, but it seems like 60s themed like space
Right.
stuff.
So
But
they
it's very fun, and they oh wait, go ahead.
well, they took a lot. So the developers have said that they took a lot of inspiration from Firefly.
Yeah,
Which-
and that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say actually, is your spaceship and then going and finding your crew members. That's a very like it has like
Like
a
the
lot of little
space
pieces
western.
of like, yeah, it's like it feels like Mass Effect, BioShock, and Fallout kind of all trickled down into like this sort of mixture with like a Firefly package, which is was something I really like. All your companion characters have really distinctive personalities, and one of them is even like this sort of quirky, shy, like mechanic type, just
Yeah.
like in Firefly. And even when you're out and about and doing stuff, I like how you'll be having a conversation with somebody, and while they'll be talking, if one of your companions has an opinion, it'll just like pop over to them and they'll say some line. And so I had some moment where I was talking to some pirate, and he was like, "I'm gonna kill you all if you don't like give me some money," and I was just like, "Okay, here." But before I did that, both the characters were like, I don't really feel inclined to die at the hands of like a flamethrower wielding pirate. That sounds kind of lame. But then I gave him the money, and one of them's like, don't we need that money though? And the other one's like, well, sometimes you got to pay people off to get where you're going.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty
I liked
interesting.
how you can put together your own little like space team and go
So
out.
would you say that you're
feel like
Nathan
fit in.
Fillion?
I'm trying to be.
I
Although
so,
right now I found some armor where I look like a mixture between Hunter from Destiny and like Flack from Borderlands. Like, I have like this huge lumbering trench coat and like this crazy hood. He looks
So,
pretty cool though.
I've
There's a lot
heard
of cool armor. It's cool.
I've heard that the main like replayability aspect, or the main like I guess the way that they lengthen the game is through replayability, because it's not as long as you would expect a lot of like major RPGs to be.
But it's bigger than you think, oddly enough.
Right. And so a lot of people are saying like it's because you can play it so differently each time. And so
Yeah.
really the meat of the game is in the replayability and playing it in a totally different way. So
Yeah, and one of the ways they
what are
encourage
your
that.
like what's your approach right now?
I mean, right now I think I just went in going with like lots of like basically you pick skills in a field, and so you could pick like tech, and that raises science, medicine, and something else at the same time, and they can raise up to 50, and then you have to start putting individual points in. So that's a cool way of doing the beginning of it. So I've focused all in like science and dialogue stuff, so I can talk my way out of stuff.
Dialogue heavy.
Which I hadn't really done ever in a Fallout game, but because this game doesn't have the ability to kind of like freeze time for a second, you can go into super slow-mo and like pick people,
Right.
but it's not quite the same. So I figure kind of like BioShock, it's like it feels like BioShock where everything's more in the moment. And so dialogue stuff helps a lot, and it creates a lot. It has really good writing. I like it. It's really fun. It definitely.
That was always my approach in KOTOR.
Yeah,
and like
that's
the
another
dialogue
thing.
options are cool, and then
Obsidian,
just mixing into. Sorry, just the last thing is like you can mix into whatever you want later on, but the way they change the replayability of the game is the more you do certain things, you can choose whether or not to take like a disadvantage to your character in order to get an extra perk point. So like for instance, I kept jumping off of things and breaking my legs. So eventually it just popped up this message saying, would you like to be permanently crippled at the cost of a skill point? So it would be like, you can get a free skill point if you take this permanent decrease in running speed and you can't dodge anymore. And I was like, well, I don't want that, because the dodge is like kind of how you can far jump to like get to things. So I was like, well, that would suck if I didn't have that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you can pick or if someone shoots you in the head too many times, you can choose like a permanent concussion where it'll be like, oh, your weapon sways too much or something like that. But you
can't hold a
straight. Partially.
So you can go around.
You're quite special now.
I really want to do one in the beginning too. You can pick
permanently disabled.
Like in the beginning, you can pick like good or very bad, like below average, average, high, and very high for like a few of these stats, and you have a few points you can put in. So what you can do is you can decrease the intelligence all the way to below average, and it unlocks the ability to have like dumb responses. So you could just be like, rock throw at wall fall down. Like I kind of want to play a character that's just like really stupid, but at the same time is really clever. And like it's like really stupid, but he can talk his way out of situations. Like he's just like a lovable idiot kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And Ben, going back to what you were saying about KOTOR, it's Obsidian did KOTOR 2. So they did Outer Worlds and KOTOR 2.
Yeah, but it's fun. I would say if you can wait for it to be like half off.
Oh, I already have it.
You might be more inclined to get it then, just if anyone's listening, I guess. Did you already buy it, Pat?
No, it's on Game Pass.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, yep. It's like one of those games where for like 60, I was kind of like, I would have been happy paying like 45 for it, but it's still a ton of fun. I'm definitely enjoying it. What I like most about it is I love Firefly, and it feels like Firefly the RPG kind of.
Nice. Well, I have been playing. I played some Witcher. I played some Crash Bandicoot, but I played through the Modern Warfare campaign this weekend.
Bang bang.
And
bang bang, Captain Pierce. Bang bang.
Yeah, it was just. I don't know. I'm making a video about it coming out on Saturday, and about
Did you cry tears of joy out of your penis?
No.
Did you shoot a baby?
I didn't shoot a baby, but I like that was the very first thing you asked me. I told Ben I was playing Modern Warfare, and Ben's like, "Did you shoot the baby?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? No."
Is that in the airport or something? Like
no.
Someone with a stroller just.
No, there's a scene where this woman. Where you're doing a raid, and the raids in this game are like by far the best levels, but you're doing a raid on a house, and there's this baby that's crying, and like one of your like companions yells at the woman to like shut the baby up, because you're like trying to, you're in this raid that feels
intense,
disturbingly intense, and he's like, shut that fucking baby up. And it's, I don't know. And apparently, according to Ben,
I read some article.
If you try to shoot the baby, it won't let you.
It says children are non-combatants, and it does it like a couple times. And if you continue to do it, it boots you out to the main menu and says, "Are you serious?"
Oh my god! I hope that's real. That's pretty funny.
So I kind of
like, hey, don't be a psychopath.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had gotten the opportunity to try that out. I rented it off Redbox, and so I returned it. But yeah, no,
you didn't prestige. Come on, bro, you got a prestige, bro.
Nah, it was
prestige, bro.
It was super okay. It was just okay. I feel like it wasn't worthy of the Modern Warfare name, but
It wasn't as good as you felt like the first one was?
Oh, Modern Warfare is fantastic. I think Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 are two of the best Call of Duties there are.
But this one didn't really live up to snuff.
No. Honestly, it wasn't even as good as Modern Warfare 3.
Wow.
But
the world, Pat has spoken.
There you go. But no, I will have a video coming out on that on Saturday. So just a more well thought out encapsulation of my thoughts on that game. But now it's time for the news at now.
The news show. It's the news show. We are now a news show, so we bring you news.
All right, so last week was a light news week. This week was an insanely heavy news week. To the point we're not even doing a topic of the show. We're just going over news because it's going to be a while. So first of all, and arguably the biggest story of the week was Bethesda's announcement of Fallout First. So Fallout First, I'm sure you guys know at this point, is the subscription service for Fallout. Oh, you didn't hear about this, Ben?
Oh, this is some bullshit. I gotta say.
This is real dumb. So here we go, Ben. Strap in. Fallout First is a subscription service for Fallout 76. And it costs $13 a month or $100 a year. Which, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Ben's making a
year to play
face.
such a crappy game. Like, what?
So the subscription service gets you some stuff. It gets you private worlds. So a persistent server. So even when you're not there, it's still there. An unlimited component storage chest, basically. A tent that works as a fast travel point and provides kind of a little on-the-go base. 1,650 atoms per month, which is their premium currency, roughly converts to about $16. A ranger armor outfit and special icons and emotes.
Woo.
Now, this is a lot.
I'd rather someone puts a copy of Fallout 76 in a sandwich and I have to eat it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ben's reaction is almost perfect of I don't know. But yeah, no, so you can
if someone pitched that to you, you'd just be like, what?
You want me to pay $100 a year or more to play a game that I don't already play? That I don't like
yeah.
That I don't want to play? Like
and on top of that, it's like
play ESO at that point. Like, good God.
They're selling persistent worlds, and so it's like it's literally paying to make this a single player game. And that just seems so stupid to me. But it gets worse.
What would be kind of cool is if they did that and in your persistent world there were NPCs.
Yeah. It's almost
like people say, it's like, oh, do you want Fallout 76 to be even more lonely?
Just a normal Fallout.
Can you build things in Fallout 76?
You can, but the main sell of persistent worlds is that now people are thinking, oh, okay, so like maybe they'll allow for mod support. And they haven't said whether or not they will be, but that's kind of what people are hoping for as far as like, Well,
all I gotta say, Todd Howard, if you're listening, is get the fuck on the next Elder Scrolls game. Come on, Jesus Christ.
So this is actually this Fallout First thing is shaking a lot of people's confidence in Elder Scrolls. But
they're gonna be like, it's ESO 2.
Yeah,
you'd be like,
It gets worse though, because at the launch of the service, the scrap box that holds unlimited components was deleting components. And so people were putting a bunch of their resources in there, and it was deleting them. And the worlds aren't persistent. So they were selling you server space as a persistent world, and then they were shutting it down
every day or something
when you weren't using it. It's just a lobby.
Yeah.
What?
That's
super like that's such a who the fuck pitched that, and why did some executive say I like that idea?
Oh, this is a great idea. So people naturally not happy.
Let's take this game no one's buying and make it more expensive.
Exactly. And it gets even better. One fan was so displeased that they went ahead and checked a domain, basically like one of those places like GoDaddy where you can buy domain names. And the domain name www.falloutfirst.com was available. So he bought it and he made a website. And some of the quotes on the website are, "Only the dumbass who bought this membership who owns the private world is required to be a Fallout fuck you first slave." The sex tent comes complete with a stash, sleeping bag, scrap box, cooking station, and even an instrument to help you blow hot air up your ass after a day of exploring Appalachia. And Fallout Fuck You First will be available as a 1-month waste of your money membership, or you can purchase a yearly cash burning pile for a 36% discount. So this guy had a lot of fun with it, and thank God he did. But this website is hilarious. And because like he did go into some real effort and actually described what Fallout First offers, just from the perspective of the fan. So, I mean, I'm honestly shocked that Fallout 76 is still going.
Yeah, and I mean, it was already like on a huge downward spiral. Like, why? I don't understand why they would suddenly try to do this as almost like, I don't know, like a reawakening for the game in some way. Like, good God, you'd be better off going back and adding stuff to ESO. I just keep going back to ESO, but I'm like, good God, you already did an online game, and it was pretty bad.
Well, they were kind of pulling out of the nosedive after E3 when they announced a bunch of stuff like NPCs and Battle Royale and like the Vault community systems and whatnot. But this is just almost
now they're like,
well,
all of that's
the
behind
whole game.
the paywall now.
Yeah. So, Ben, I know that you won't be buying Fallout First, but did you ever have any interest in Fallout 76?
No, I honestly have not even played Fallout 4 since it's been on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
I would recommend that. It's all right.
Yeah, but why do I want to
Fallout
play
3? But
yeah, like I played a bunch of Fallout 3. I've heard it's only all right, and I've heard that it's even worse. It's not even as good as Fallout New Vegas, and yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of other games that I'd probably rather play, and so I probably just don't think like maybe if they make another great Fallout game like Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas or something like that, then I could get back into it. But otherwise, probably not going to.
I mean, it comes down to like a matter of there's just limited time, and why would you spend your limited time playing a Fallout game when Fallout games are notoriously either good or either like okay or bad these days.
Yeah, whereas they used to be like a good time suck. Now it sounds like they're either an okay or a bad time suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if you're itching for a Fallout-y game, just get Outer Worlds.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is like Outer Worlds is a Fallout game, but a good one. So,
but a fun one, yeah.
Yeah. But in other news, so Kojima Productions tweeted the other day that Death Stranding, which comes out on November 8th on PS4, will be coming to PC in early summer 2020.
Sucks to suck.
Are you guys going to play Death Stranding?
It's going to look so much better on PC.
It is, no doubt.
Graphics aren't everything. It's all about the story.
Yeah.
It's gonna play like ass on my vanilla PS4, I guarantee.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Are you guys gonna play it?
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna play it,
of
but
course.
it's gonna play like ass.
Yeah. Are you gonna play it day one?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's definitely one of those
I don't
games.
know,
I feel
maybe.
like anything that's made by Kojima, I usually think they're usually always really good games. So I think I'll probably have to jump in on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
And then only the week after that, Fallen Order comes out. Woo!
No,
Fallen Order and Pokemon.
I'm all in. I feel like we're also representative of different excitement for different games because Andrew is all about Fallen Order. Ben, you're way more into Pokemon. And
No, I'm way into Fallen Order too. I pre-ordered Fallen Order fucking on fucking.
Okay, so of the games in November, what are you most excited for?
Fallen Order.
I don't. God, either
Honestly,
Pokemon
pick
or
one.
Fallen Order. Pokemon and Fallen Order.
No, that's not one. You're picking two.
Which one makes your dick hard?
Both.
Which one makes your dick harder?
It's real. It's just.
Which one makes it the hardest?
I've got a hot Polish sausage, and it is.
Which one makes your ham candle light? I would definitely. I mean, I haven't seen very much about Death Stranding, but I'm very curious about it. But it does look like a lot, kind of like how Metal Gear Solid, what was it, 5 was, it was a lot of walking, a lot of hiking around. And I'm wondering if it's going to be just a lot of that shit. And I'm hoping it's more interesting. But Fallen Order, I'm so excited for because it's sort of like
it's a
Metroidvania, Dark Soulsy Star Wars.
And I don't
game.
think it's gonna play like ass.
Yeah, it's gonna play crisp.
You don't think?
I tell you.
You don't think?
I bet that it's going to be optimized better than Death Stranding will be.
Really, you think so?
Probably.
It's third party. Death Stranding is first party.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I could be wrong, but
Hopefully you're wrong.
Control was third party but first party.
No.
Oh no, Control was on all. Oh yeah, it was on all platforms, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't know.
far and away most excited for Death Stranding. I'm super pumped for this game. And
I think I'm just excited for Star Wars because it's Star Wars.
I'm like, oh, a game where I have to go pee. Like I have to do that in real life.
I'm not excited about managing two bladders.
Exactly. I don't know. Like I'm intrigued by Death Stranding, but I'm not like super excited for it.
I just imagine a really funny moment. I just know there's gonna be a moment playing Death Stranding where like some hectic, scary moment is happening, and you just have to like walk around a corner and pee really bad. He's like, "Oh fuck, I'm so scared, but I gotta pee really bad." What if he pees in his pants? Does he like freeze to death if it gets too cold? Like, he has to change.
I don't know. I'm so excited to find that out, though.
I just want to Fallen Order because it's Star Wars. Every time I watch a trailer and someone pulls out a lightsaber and cuts a stormtrooper in half,
that's just gonna make his character just soil himself all the time.
Yeah, that's what gets my.
He's just constantly
like
weighing his pants down.
That's what gets my ham candle lit.
But Pat, I think you're just gonna make your character soil himself all the time.
Yeah,
definitely.
That makes me
you
hard.
have to see what happens at least once. It'll probably say like he'll get a UTI or something. You know?
I'll be like,
you can't run as fast because it hurts. Like,
give it to the baby.
Oh God!
Yeah, you can't lose your UTI until you respawn.
Let's move on after Ben said that so aggressively. No, but so there's also news that Death Stranding so it's an open world game, and as you explore the open world, there will be licensed music playing, and
it's true.
That music seems to all be from artists that are signed with Sony Music, which
it's confirmed that they are.
Oh, confirmed that they are. Which a lot of people are speculating that a lot of PlayStation 5 games will be doing the same thing to kind of circumvent the need to license music, because Sony's already got it.
Well, that'd be cool. We'll see how it goes. Don't care.
In that way, it's a lot cheaper to have really good music. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I think that's.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool thing that a lot of other developers don't have, is that they just have all of the musicians on their roster who that they can just be like, yeah, we'll give you more money now straight through us, and not like we'll have to pay you out the ass through like another record label.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about this. So last week I read this book called Console Wars that was about the Sega versus Nintendo days of the early 90s. And at the end of the book, and I was like, as I'm reading this book, I'm thinking like, how is this, like, this is a real story, and so where are they going to end it? And it turns out the end of the story was when Sony came to E3 and introduced the PlayStation, and then Steve Race came up and just said $2.99 and walked off stage. And it was like, that was such a huge moment. And then I was thinking about like Sony being in the video game industry. Sony is primarily an electronics company, but they're in the video game industry and they make video games. And then that's kind of like Microsoft does the same thing. And so this is a huge advantage for Sony, having these other avenues of like resources, and Sony Music and Sony Pictures and other electronics that Sony can, like, Sony does their own product placement in games.
And that's why, that's why you see so many of this first person Sony games becoming movies too.
Exactly. Because they, like, we have a fucking movie studio. Let's just greenlight it. Let's not go pitch it to a million different studios. Let's just send it to ours.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it works pretty well.
Yeah. And so, Ben, I do agree with you. I think that this is a huge, like, this is a really awesome thing that they're doing and a really awesome idea. I'm just shocked that it took this long for them to do it.
Well, and you and I were talking like a couple weeks ago, I think, about how I thought it would be cool if like a game like the next GTA had like actual, like, not like completely live radio stations, but like the radio stations actually like debuted new music, like,
yeah, that'd be cool,
weekly or monthly or something.
And you'd never
like
have to leave GTA.
Yeah, because like GTA 5 has gotten some music updates, but not nearly to the extent that you're talking about, like weekly new music.
Yeah. And like, but it's like a company like Sony would be able to like actually potentially do something like that because of the fact that they have this, and they could also see like, oh, there's the advantages that we have of this also promotes our artists, and it like,
right,
like, you know, it promotes their music and then helps us sell concert tickets, which is where we make all of our money right now for music, and then it makes our game more interesting, and it keeps people playing that, which keeps them spending our in-game currencies, and
just constantly cross promoting.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a major advantage that Sony has, being that, like, that electronics company. So
it's true.
Indeed.
So yeah, no, I think that that's a pretty cool article that you sent us, Ben. It's something that I hadn't thought of, but like now it seems so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
the future is now, old man.
That's right. That's right. So anyways, there have been some delays in the video game industry. One real big one, and then a few other ones. So we'll start with the other ones first. Ubisoft delayed Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Bummer.
None of us really care about those games.
Isn't Gods and Monsters a game coming out for Switch or something?
I don't know if it's coming to Switch.
It's like a cartoony sort of cel-shady looking game, right? I haven't seen anything about it, but the screenshots make it look kind of neat. I like mythology, but not really keeping my thumb on the pulse for that one.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard anything about that, and the other two don't interest me really at all. Rainbow Six Siege was kind of fun, but playing it online, the other people were just way too fucking good all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, that's definitely one that like the community has gotten so good that it's almost impossible to get into now. And that
Talk about Apex. Jesus Christ, that screenshot I saw, that
oh, I
fucking,
know that was
my
insane. Andrew, did you watch that?
No, which one was it?
Here, go
There's-
back into the group chat. And
I've seen a lot of them. I saw one where
There's-
someone's like parachuting in and some guy just shoots him with a rifle from like 600 meters away and just
Yeah,
kills him
that's
while he's
probably the one.
parachuting.
Yeah,
And-
that's probably the one.
I think that when it had sound, the guy was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah. Yeah, no. So Rainbow Six has definitely become one of those games that it's like it's almost impossible to penetrate because of how dedicated the community has become to that game.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs
It's
Legion.
so intense.
Watch Dogs Legion, I really don't give a shit about. Like that game looks so stupid to me.
Yeah, Watch
I
Dogs
just-
1 was
anything
all
Watch
right.
Dogs
Watch
is-
Dogs 2 was meh,
Watch Dogs 1 was
pretty bad.
not all right. It was pretty bad.
I thought Watch Dogs 1 was just kind of like it was fine. But Watch Dogs 2 was a little more fun, I think, but it also was just like they started leaning towards just the more ridiculous and I don't know. It's not my jam.
Yeah,
I just found one to be like too. It was like, it just didn't seem like there was like a point. It was like, you can base. It's like just like you're on God mode because you can just change all the stoplights and make the bridges go up and down and drive all wherever you want and then do whatever you want. It just felt like too easy almost. Like and
What I actually
the
really liked
combat
about
sequences were okay. Like, but it just like I don't know. I didn't find it to be.
I
like-
weirdly got like the most fun from playing the multiplayer in the first one. Like I really liked the one where someone would invade your world and you'd have to stay within kind of like an area and somebody would be like trying to hack you like and you'd have to sort of find them in like a small area. I would
See,
play
I
that
never
with my
tried that,
roommate.
so that could actually be fairly fun.
Those were fun. I liked doing that and like
Yeah.
as like if you went into someone else's world you had to just kind of like pretend to be an NPC. Like I kind of liked doing that. I did that with my old friend and we had a weird amount of fun with it. We would have weirdly good luck where someone would hack us and we would just like look into like a bizarre like a shopping mall like full of people and there'd just be like a bunch of people walking around and I would just see someone like not follow like a perfect path with everyone else and I'd just be like bang and you'd be like you killed the guy and I'm
that
like
actually does sound.
I can't
like
believe
a
I
pretty
just
cool
picked the
concept.
right person out of that whole group of people.
That does sound. Like a
Yeah,
pretty cool
that sounds
concept.
cool. But yeah, like the rest of the game, like the single player, just was too repetitive after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was all a lot of the same.
What Watch Dogs reminds me of? Did you guys ever see that '90s movie Hackers?
Yeah.
I think so.
So it was just painfully cringy of like oh, I'm gonna hack into the mainframe, kind of like NCIS
Well,
bullshit.
It's kind of silly where a lot of people thought the internet was going to go in the 90s.
Exactly, and that's what Watch Dogs reminds me of. Is like
There's just
the
this dark space. Yeah.
the like NCIS thing where they're like enhance, and it's like
Clarify.
That's not how it works. Zoom in, enhance. And that's the vibe that I get from Watch Dogs. So I really don't give a shit about Watch Dogs Legion. Like that, I'm so unexcited for that game. But
And isn't that another like big online one, like everyone plays at the same time kind of thing?
no, it's the one where you can basically like take control of any NPC and recruit them into your gang.
Oh, that sounds stupid.
Yeah. But these games
Yeah,
were
what
all
the fuck? That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, I know. These games were all delayed with no date set. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, we're delaying them till May 29th. It was
So like we're deciding
So
whether or
did
not
like
we should-
everybody at Ubisoft get mono or something?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they were just looking at them and they just said like,
a lot of inter-office relationships over at Ubisoft.
yeah.
With
Maybe
the same person, obviously.
maybe they just said like, this this sucks, but like here we have 3 major projects that all need to be delayed at the same time. And honestly, as much as I don't like Watch Dogs, I don't like Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft has earned my respect in their commitment, like through their commitment to their games. So like For Honor started off as something terrible and has become something really good. Same with Rainbow Six, same with Ghost Recon Wildlands, and like, so even though I'm not like wild about their games, I have respect for them as a developer.
Ubisoft, if you're listening, bring back Prince of Persia.
Yeah, bring back fucking Splinter Cell, please.
Prince of Persia was my favorite game growing up. That was like one of the first computer games I ever bought. The very first one, Sands of Time. Oh, such a good game.
But a game that we do care about that was delayed. Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed to May 29th.
Oh well.
So I want to get you guys' take. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, or like a not really either thing?
Patience is a virtue. That's all I'll say.
Ben?
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. Like I mean, I'm sure there are some people who are going to complain like, "Oh, it's so close to when PS5 comes out." But I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
as long as
sort of like even if it's like a final hurrah before the PS5, like that's a good fucking game to come out right before.
Well, so interesting that you immediately brought up PS5, because this does put Last of Us Part 2 in almost the exact same spot to PS5 that The Last of Us was to PS4. Like 4 or 5 months prior to release of the next gen console. Because I think Last of Us came out in June of 2013.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you wait, you'll be able to buy a PS5 with The Last of Us Definitive Edition or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, do you guys think that it's going to get Last of Us Part 2 remake?
No,
maybe.
I bet they just go
Backwards
upscaling
compatible.
Exactly. Backwards compatibility with upscaling.
I could see that happening, yeah.
Because I think that is also a way to sell their new system.
Yeah, definitely. Of like, hey, you can play all the old games. Like, do you have a PS4 disc? Just pop it in and it'll look better on PS5 through like upscaling, anti-aliasing, just generalized things that can be applied to all games.
Yeah.
Like system wide. And then, I mean, they will look better. Like anti-aliasing will make any game look better. But no, I'm kind of with you, Ben. I don't think that I think for them to try to double dip would be, they might try to double dip, and that's fine. But
I think a big part of the reason that they double dipped was that it was hard to, the PS3 and PS4 didn't have backwards compatibility. Yeah.
Right. So I think that they might try to double dip, but if they do, they'll approach it differently than they did the first one, of like, this will have all the DLC included and like that sort of definitive edition versus like a remastered edition.
Yeah, exactly.
But another thing I wanted to ask you guys about this delay. Ghost of Tsushima is confirmed to be coming out after The Last of Us Part 2, and it's also confirmed to be a PS4 game. Now, they haven't announced any launch titles for PS5, but I'm starting to think that it's likely that Ghost of Tsushima is the big first-party launch title for PS5.
Maybe. That'd be interesting. Because isn't Ghost of Tsushima another From Software game?
No, that's Sekiro.
Oh, I thought they were also making Ghost of Tsushima.
No, Sucker Punch is making Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh.
And I think that Ghost of Tsushima might be one that is like, there is a PS4 and a PS5 version, and they are different. But I like, because the thing about it is, like, if you think about when games come out, so if Last of Us is coming out May 29th and the PlayStation 5 is presumably coming out in November, when would Ghost of Tsushima come out? If it wasn't a PS5 launch title.
I could imagine it coming out in like October or November.
I mean,
Wasn't the PS5 holiday 2020?
Yeah, so holiday 2020 means November.
Oh, well, maybe like April or March.
After the PS5?
Oh, sorry. When did you say it was coming out? You said it comes out in November.
Last of Us comes out on May 29th of 2020.
Oh.
And then I think it's almost certain that PS5 comes out in November of 2020. And so, and if it has to come after Last of Us and PS5 is coming in November of 2020, when do you think Ghost of Tsushima comes out?
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like, do they try and hit that early September slot that Gears 5 filled this year? Or do they just, like, it's gotta be a launch title, I feel like.
I don't know. It could just be like in summer.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, games don't really come out in summer that often, but I think that would be a cool way to break that trend. So,
yeah, it could be interesting. Just have to, like, yeah, I mean, if it is a launch title, that'd be pretty cool. I think that is probably a good one to throw in there.
Yeah, it's the one I would buy on my PS5 on day one, because, like, on my Xbox on day one, I know I'm buying Halo, but on PS5, like, I know I'm buying a PS5 on day one, but I don't know what game I'm going to play. So,
yeah, it's like when the PS4 came out, all I had was Resogun.
Yeah, it's like we played like Killzone Shadowfall and Resogun. Sweet.
Killzone Shadowfall wasn't bad.
No, that game was pretty bad.
Yeah. You're
kind of striking out tonight,
maybe my
buddy.
threshold for bad is lower than yours.
I think it is. That's what it sounds like.
Oh man, but
I just don't drink Haterade.
It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out and what happens, and we'll definitely keep up to date on the show. But now it's time for the weekly trivia challenge.
Trivia challenge.
All right. So this week's weekly trivia challenge: what group from the Elite Dangerous community is renowned for saving players who are stranded in deep space without fuel? Is it A, Fuel Rats, B, the Grease Monkeys, C, the Diamond Dogs, or D, the Dutch Vanderland Gang?
I'm going to let Ben answer his first because I know exactly which one it is. And he has to lock in his answer first. What will it be, Ben? Testing your knowledge against my Elite Dangerous big brain. You have to pick a number, buddy. I mean, you gotta pick a letter, buddy.
Abstain.
I mean, you know it's not the Dutch Vanderland Gang, right?
Could be though.
I mean, I guess it is a community-driven thing.
You have 5 seconds.
B.
You're gonna go with B, the Grease Monkeys?
A. I mean, sorry.
Oh, so you wanted Fuel Rats?
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Damn it, I also do A.
Okay. All right. Well, the answer was A, the Fuel Rats. So, Ben, you're up to 14 points for the year. Andrew, you're at 9, getting close to breaking double digits.
Man, I got saved by the Fuel Rats once.
Did
I
you?
looked at because you can buy this thing where you can fly up to the suns and you can gain fuel if you get close enough to a sun without overheating your systems. So like I didn't have that yet, and I ran out of fuel trying to fly to like a space station, and I looked it up online, and they were like, literally I had to go on like a message thing, and this other player told me, no, they told me, they were like, go into your ship systems, disable all of these different things so that you only have your like oxygen going basically, and you just float lifelessly in space. And then you kind of you ping them your coordinates somehow, like once they get to your system they can get to you, and yeah, they fly up to you and they literally like transfer fuel to your ship so that you can fuel up and get to the next space station. And I had that happen once, and I was like, that's pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty cool.
That actually is really awesome. But that's all we've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you heard, don't Oh, Ghost is yelling.
Hi, Ghost.
Is saying goodbye too. Good night, Ghost.
If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you found us on. Don't forget to check out our website, coldnorthpro.com, to see everything we do, including our movies podcast, No Refunds, the podcast that watches bad movies so you don't have to, all in one spot. We'll be back next week talking about whatever happens in the next 7 days. So until then, reset.
R-E-S-C-T. Reset. Oh, gross. It's Jillian. It is Jillian. Wearing her sweater coat and anchor shirt with jeans.
I believe they call them cardigans.
Cardigans. And there's Ghost. He jumped up. He's jumping on people because Ghost wants some playtime too. Ghost